So I will be talking about the Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean was a place where merchants could trade goods. It connected many regions like East Africa, the Middle East, India, Southeast Asia, and some parts of China, leading to the growth of rich trading cities like Malacca and the spread of culture and ideas. It also helped build powerful empires like the Mughal Empire located in India, and it brought a lot of wealth to the area. Some traded goods in the Indian Ocean were spices, textiles, gold, horses, slaves, and precious stones. The most traded goods were spices and textiles because they were high in demand and had great volume. Spices were prized for their flavor and keeping qualities, while textiles were sought after for their quality and craftsmanship. They were lightweight and easy to transport.
Hi, I'll be talking about trade in the Indian Ocean. So the trade was basically on navigation through the Indian Ocean. Number one, the monsoon wind. The monsoon wind was essential for sailors in navigating through the Indian Ocean because it helped them track the wind patterns through the season. The next navigational technology used in the Indian Ocean was the stern rudder, which provided ships with stability, which helped them maneuver through the sea. Another navigational trade in the Indian Ocean was the triangular lateen sail, which was a triangular sail that could capture wind in any direction. So if, let's say, if sailors were traveling one direction, the wind pattern changed, they could still go to their destination. Another navigational technology used in the Indian Ocean was the astrolabe. It was a tool used by sailors to tell how far north and south they were from the equator.
Religion played a central role in shaping the Indian Ocean trade routes, profoundly influencing commerce, culture, and society across vast regions that spanned East Africa, Arabian Peninsula, South Asia, and Southeast Asia. These trade networks, active for over a millennium, became pathways of exchange for not only goods like textiles, precious metals, but also ideas, beliefs, and spiritual practices. Islam had a particularly significant impact, spreading widely through the activities of Muslim merchants. These traders established thriving port cities such as Zanzibar, Hikwa, Aden, Calicut, and Malacca, which became centers of Islamic trade and learning. In many of these cities, mosques were built as places of worship and social gathering, focusing both spiritual and economic connections. The adaptation of Islam and coastal regions like East Africa and Southeast Asia facilitated trade by creating a shared religious and cultural framework that strengthened trust between merchants. Hinduism and Buddhism also traveled along the Indian Ocean trade routes, leaving an enduring legacy, particularly in Southeast Asia. Indian traders and religious scholars carried these faiths to kingdoms like Srivijaya and Mahabharat, where they profoundly influenced local governance, architecture, and art. Hindu temples and Buddhist stupas became symbols of this culture exchange, reflecting both local and Indian traditions. For example, the temples of Angkor in Cambodia and Borobudur in Indonesia are lasting testaments to this period of vibrant interaction.
Increased exchange across the Indian Ocean during this time period brought many effects. An example of this being how merchants stayed and lived at port cities due to the marrying women living there. This also led to the spread of religion through intermarriage. These communities full of merchants away from their homeland were known as diaspora. In these diaspora, settlers introduced their culture and traditions with indigenous traditions. Exchange across the Indian Ocean also created thriving city-states called Swahili city-states. They were referred to as bustling commercial centers. Their names are Kilwa, Mombasa, and Zanzibar, just to name a few. The traders of the Zanj coast sold ivory, gold, and slaves to their Arab trading partners, as well as more exotic things like tortoise shells, peacock feathers, and rhinoceros horns. From this trade, Zanj cities acquired Chinese porcelain, Indian cotton, and manufactured ironwork. They traded so much that these are actually common finds in ruins of these cities.